The man, Daniel Rich, just absolutely love the way he plays his footy. He gets on the end of it. He's really smart in his positioning, and he sets Brisbane up every single time.
Final predictions, who wins?
For me, Brisbane win. They've just got, a lot more depth, I think. But it should be a good game.
Enjoy Saturday night football on the Gold Coast. It's the Brisbane Lions hosting St Kilda.
Oscar McInerney to start in the ruck against Paddy Ryder. Neither an effective tap. Lions off to the 200 gamer Zorko. Inside 50 for the first time. McStay comes out, crashes the pack. McCarthy slight fumble. Hipwood went back to try and find it. Here's Wilkie. So reliable, so consistent. Lions harassed by Butler. Lions involved again. Bailey flips it across his body and finds Hipwood. So many options inside 50, Richo. They share the load so well.
Yeah, they do, and because they're all dangerous, talked about it before the game, they can get isolation. Look at that there. They're all pretty much one-on-one. They like to hold their 6 forwards. It's hard to come off your man and intercept, and he had a one-on-one chance there. Was in front position, Eric Hipwood. Chance for the first goal.
Played every game this season. Kicked 26-19 for the year. This for a great start for Brisbane. He launches into it, wants to try and work it back, but it won't come.
Blood rule, Brisbane. Stop there, Jimmy. Stop there, blood rule, bud.
That was in that very first marking contest. McStay, crashed in the pack and caused the spillage. Coleman coming onto the ground.
Tom Highmore went back with extraordinary courage. It's like a little set play, that, doesn't it? The round the back move to Bradley Hill.
Stand.
They get it to Sinclair. That's an awkward half volley to take. Sebros did a fantastic job, really, but the Lions are going to get back inside forward 50. Hill slaps it out of bounds. Gets the benefit of the doubt.
Well, this is what the Lions want early. They're a forward half team. They love to get stoppages in their forward half. And this is where they can score from better than anyone.
McInerney down to Bailey. Somehow found his boot and then finds Jared Lyons. And exactly what we're talking about, Richo. #1 team in the comp. Scoring from clearances.
Yeah, they get it in there. They lock it in. They force, repeat stoppages. And eventually they get the opportunities to score from. So getting the game on their terms early.
Jared Lyons. 4th touch coming up. Let's push that one across the face.
How good's he
Brisbane
been?
early.
Jared Lyons, how good's he been for Brisbane? Unbelievable.
59th game at Brisbane, Richo. Jared Lyons, he started Adelaide with 55 games, 37 the Gold Coast. He's found a real sweet spot in his career right now, as you said. Here's Wilkie. Nice kick down the line to McKenzie. Now this is the brave ball that sides like to take through the corridor. Dunstan. It's got closed down a little bit, but oh no, Sinclair through his hands. Lockie Neal, Coleman, McCluggage, Joe Danaher. Well done, Howard. Brilliant effort to get back. Slick handball came the way of Sinclair. Out to McKenzie. Again, a hard ball to handle that one. Dean Kent, the latest of late inclusions into this game. Mason Wood laid out. And just a decent divot taken there in the turf at Metricon Stadium.
Dane Zorko just replaces the divot. Good etiquette from him. Marshall a tap, but Neil the Shark turns out of trouble, gives it to McCluggage. Tumbling kick inside 50. Danaher versus Howard. Little spill over the back. Ross was the first man back there. Goes towards the line. Cameron elusive, but not this time.
Hold him. Let him up.
Charlie Cameron, just so dangerous. He's kicked 10-8 in his last 4 games.
Jimmy Webster with the matchup. He's been good, Jimmy. That's a tough matchup.
Marshall did well. He was partly smothered off his boot. Hipwood. Bailey gets a piece of Butler, affected the handball, goes back in to win it himself. Butler still in there scrapping. Ross under pressure. Hits the line.
So hard to get out. Once it's in their forward line, you can just see the Saints repeat entries in this game. 5 entries already for Brisbane, and Saints don't look like being able to maintain possession and get through their forward pressure.
Ryan Marshall with a bold play, clean possession out of the ruck, and strong tackle on Robinson. Mentioned a few times tonight what Ryan Marshall does, Richo. He really takes the pressure off Max King forward and allows him Paddy Ryder to swap in that ruck forward role. A really strong player. He's missed a lot of games this year. Harris Andrews.
Just when Marshall and Ryder play together, they're almost twice as good a team, aren't they?
They've won 4 out of 5 when they're together, and they've only won 3 out of 10 when they're not.
There you go. Just a good combination.
Marshall gets to the front on McInerney. Can they win some contested ball here, the Saints, and get it down their end of the ground, give their defence a little bit of relief? Dunstan links up with Steele, hits the outside of the boot to keep it alive. Butler tries to take it with him, gets it to McKenzie. Run from behind comes from Hill, spreads it wide. Kent, first game for the season. Chips inside 50, Ryder not quite. Over the back, Paddy will butter up once again. Flip to the advantage of McKenzie, punches out a handball, trying to keep this alive. Brisbane with plenty of numbers behind it. Kent goes to the pocket. Rich, Andrews, out.
Tough matchup that Max King, isn't it? The multiple All-Australian, Harris Andrews. Back sliding in Payne, and now Crouch. Marshall well tackled by the 200 gamer Zorko.
My ball, Oscar, you up?
Saints are pretty good in this area too, though. Stoppages in their forward half. Let's see what Marshall can do here.
McInerney just tries to smack it out of there, but here's a chance. Memory twisting back in the corridor, saw something he liked, but in the way. Here's the ever-reliable Daniel Rich, who sets up so much play with that left foot.
Front on, Brisbane.
Free kick
Ready to
to
pick it up,
Zorko.
please.
Almost a professional one. Richo just holds them up a little. Lyons, Birchall. A couple of their really good users off half-back. Rich and Birchall can just pick their way through opposition zones. This is Coleman. Casually down the line, but Webster read it a little better than Cameron and cut it off. Starcevic over the top of Burns.
St.Kilda. Straight to him, Mitch. Thank you. Stand now.
Just got to be patient against Brisbane. They've become so good at defending the transition. 11th in that area last year, 3rd this year. It's been a huge improvement in their game. Max King comes out, takes it on his chest. Pulls the kick at the last moment for Membry. Rich stand tall at the front. Comes to Dunstan, smothered off his boot. Marshall with a run-down tackle on Zorko. Lyons involved again. Adams taken down by Steele. And they get themselves a stoppage, Hodgie.
I don't mind the play from St Kilda, just building the ball up slowly, just so if the Lions do get it, they're all set up behind the ball. Daniel McStay is on the boundary, ready to come back on. He's been cleaned up and ready to go.
Thank you, Hodgie. Copped an early one down McStay, the first real contest of the game, but as Hodgie said, he's back out there. Appeared to have an appetite for the contest of Saints early in this game. This man always does. Jack Steele.
Dangerous tackle.
There it is.
Kilda.
A little overzealous, maybe, Starcevic.
Yeah, players are so good now at standing up in tackles. So strong in the legs that they don't go to ground, and that's when it forces the players to go even harder and sling them down, and that's what happened there with Starcevic.
It's also one of the theories for why there's so many high ankle sprains now, Richo.
I think that is the exact reason. You get twisted around like that because they're so strong in the legs and their feet get caught up under them. I've said it a few times. I think we need to blow the whistle a bit quicker on that before Starcevic has a chance to dump him to the ground.
Averaging 28 disposals a game in season 2021. They're going to take a nice strike, and he nearly had it, Jack Steele.
Bertrand with the kick-in duties.
I mean, it was clear Steele was never going to get rid of that ball, so you just blow it before he throws into the ground.
Starcevic has it in the back pocket. Back flank to Robinson on the wing. It was a nicely weighted kick. And Butler will probably give away 50 there.
Ready, Bob? Mitch, ready, Bob? It's a 50-metre penalty. It's a 50-metre penalty. Mitch Robinson. It's a dangerous tackle after the free kick initially. Thank you, Luke. Luke. So it's a dangerous action once the ball is dead. Keep coming with me, please, Dad. Keep coming with me.
There's the explanation.
Jump right out.
Not too much doubt around that one. And now Mitch Robinson within range. He's kicked 4 goals for the season. They all came on the one game, round 11. We speak of value from other clubs. This man has been outstanding value for the Brisbane Lions. Mitch Robinson, 226 game tonight. 100 of those with the Blues. Runs to 48. Doesn't make great contact.
So there's the free front on contact for Ross, and I don't know, Butler just mustn't have heard the whistle there. That's the only explanation for that. It would have been a free anyway because it was another dangerous tackle.
Just that he did look genuinely confused at the end of it, Butler, but it had to be a 50-metre penalty. Dunstan, she had a good patch in the last month to Connolly. Bradley Hill dumps it out of there, and then Kent. Courageous effort. And that's a good kick. Nicely done to Long. Play on's the call. Well played. Ryder's intentions were good to get it down to Jones, but now Archie slaps it out, and a boundary throw in. Hodgie.
Yeah, I've noticed down here the physicality of St Kilda. Both times in the middle when they could have gone the ball, they've actually made sure they've taken the man. It's been a free kick. With that one over there against Jared Lyons, I think it's just St Kilda showing the Brisbane Lions that they're not scared of him. They're happy to match him with physicality. We saw the Lions do that to Geelong a few weeks ago, and it worked for them. So it's nice tactic from them at the start of the game.
Dunstan.
I tackle.
Just clipped on McCarthy.
Okay, leave up.
So a better 5 minutes here, Richo.
Yeah, they're right in the contest. They're winning the contested footy after 5 inside 50s in a row to start the game for the Lions.
The spot fires continue as Dunstan delivers inside 50. It's going to drop short. Ross had to provide a contest. Robinson with the punch. Spills to Highmore. Ross feeds it back. Webster bumped off his kick. Might still work for Butler. He's got Andrews to deal with. Can he turn him? Elects to throw it on the boot. Gets it in quickly. Adams throws a boot at it. Ricochets off Payne. Adams goes again. Puts his head down. Barges through. Robertson to Rich. Could be coming back. Webster tackles Lyons. It's flipped out to Hipwood.
Eric's a fair way up the ground. It was pretty well crafted handball in the end. Robinson, Highmore, which stays his opponent. Wilkie has been played at a real intensity in this game early. Ross had a handball that he ignored. Max King's got to be brave here, and he was the youngster. Did well right at ground level. Archie under some Saints forward pressure. Wide and high, and eventually out of bounds.
Heaps of pressure in this game. It's just about impossible to hit a target by foot at the moment because of the pressure from both teams. The kicks going inside 50 both ways have been ordinary so far.
So Paddy Ryder, just a bit too much experience there for Joe Danaher. You just see Devon Robinson tracking Jack Steele at the moment. You wonder whether or not that might be a role. Been in good form.
Eye contact, St Kilda free.
That's him aggro at the moment.
You know, Luke Dunstan's getting under their skin a little bit.
Gets it rolling quickly. We come back to that. Richo's Membry did his job, make sure got to ground. That almost came off his knee, Starcevic. Bounces over the head of McStay. Through to Howard. To Dunstan, short one to Jones.
And the Saints get some reward for their effort here. They've controlled the football for the last 6 minutes. And King takes it out in front of his face, in front of Danaher.
Yeah, Dunstan's playing for his life. I mean, he was back in the VFL the last 5 weeks. He's come in and he's just doing the hard stuff, and he's being physical. He draws that free kick there because he's being physical. Playing really well, Luke Dunstan.
They're having the best month of his career, Luke Dunstan. 26, 25, 26, 32, 27. His last 5 games, Dunstan. Now this for King from right on 50. Just not capitalising on their early chances.
And Richo, Dunstan, you remember a couple of weeks ago when they played Richmond and they were quite successful. Dunstan was having to go at Cochin a number of times in the first and second quarter, but they were a bit of a push and shove. He was getting right under the Richmond captain's nose, so looks like he's going to do the same thing here to the Lions midfielders.
Yeah, good point, Hodgie. Seems like that sort of player needs to play on the edge.
Gets him going, I think.
Inspires his teammates, Daniel Rich. What a Danaher, Zach Jones. I'll enjoy having him fit and healthy and back in the side as well.
Just gives them a bit more run. They're hard, Steele, Dunstan, Crouch. Just need a bit of balance on the outside.
Marshall flicked it out the back. Lockie Neal. This last week with a bit of calf tightness now. Pitts Robinson spirals one deep. Awkward ball for everyone. Picked up beautifully. Zach Valley. He's a class act. Sinclair, Coleman lurking dangerously. McCluggage just missed the handball. Steele's going to go back and fight hard to get it. Went to the voice of Sinclair. And the Saints will get out by Wilkie.
One-on-one ball to be won on the wing. Well done, Payne to Rich. Nicely done by Steele. Desperate to get it away from McCluggage, who then runs into Kent.
Yeah, the kicking efficiency for both teams down at the moment. 41% for Brisbane, St.Kilda 50. And that's because of the pressure. Both teams have got really good intent at the moment.
Saints dominating the uncontested possession right now as Jones gives it off to Marshall to open space at half forward. Butler just shunting his man straight into Max King, and Star Switch will get the free kick. Short delivery to McCluggage. So a defensive scrap so far.
Stand down, Tim.
Neither attack able to really get on top, get any sort of flow in the game at all. Punched away from the Madden kick, and now Adams. And they work it to the wing and find Danaher.
Played some early minutes in the ruck, Joe Danaher. In this game, he's gained a few metres, and that's a nice kick. Nicely done, Robertson. Look at Joe's work rate. Got the handball receive, and that has gone a long way, bouncing back. Wilkie now had to think his way through it. He did to Billings. Big one-on-one contest coming up out the back memory. And he might have his legs
below
taken.
the knees, advantage.
Advantage has been paid. Crouch takes it. Burns. Happy to go the one-on-one. Well-read Max King. He outpointed Harris Andrews. And then the quick play on Long.
Holding. St.Kilda.
Free kick to Ben Long.
Got a couple of little wins, Max King, in those one-on-ones with Harris Andrews.
So it might be just beyond his range. I suspect for Ben Long. He just puts it up to the dangerous spot. Marshall down there. And they contend with that pretty well, the Lions' defence.
Max King, 3 marks already in the game.
So critical, isn't it, Richo? Coming as that link man, he's pushing up at the football right now.
I think it's important when you're a young, tall forward to get up the ground a little bit early and actually get your hands on the footy.
Adams to McCluggage. Awkward one on the bounce for McCarthy. Highmore slides in.
I mean, if you're sitting as that deepest forward on an experienced defender like Andrews and you don't touch the ball for 15 or 20 minutes, it can be, you know, confidence sapping. But if you get up and get some marks like he has early.
Jones to Ross. Just pokes a little kick. It was great vision. Just had a little bit too much on it for Marshall, who can go down and pick up the football. Gives it to Billings. Works it back across his body. Adams. What an addition he's been to this defensive unit. But coughed it up to Steele. Nice spin move from Jones. Gets around a second. Delivers inside 50. Well played, Zach Jones. Hits Ben Long on the chest.
Having a little win here as well with Long on Daniel Rich. I mean, Rich wants to get the ball in his hands, but he's got to defend on Long first and foremost, and giving him a fair leg rope there, not paying any attention at all to Long. He watching the ball, not his opponent, had no idea where he was.
He's kicked 1-6 for the year, Ben Long. So this has been a part of his game that he's struggled with. Can he find his radar early? No.
This is the part where the Lions have really struggled. St Kilda behind the ball is set up perfectly. So whenever this kick is just a little bit off, they're able to squeeze them in and push them back in and delay them like they have just there.
That's what they've done the last couple of weeks, Hodgie. Their defence has been really good across the whole ground, not just their back six, just defending the whole ground well, the Saints, the last 8 quarters.
10 of the last 13 inside 50s, and as Hodgie called beautifully, they've turned it over in their forward half again, so they're set up really well. Crouch gets on the end of it. And they are asking some nice questions of the Lions so far, the Saints, in this game.
You could see the pattern there, Richo. You're spot on. They all worked in sync. They had the extra number because they worked as a team, get the cut off, and then find that quick little snap and find Crouch by himself. That's why the Lions have been struggling to get outside their D50. They've been working in tandem as a defensive group. It's been great to watch.
He's a ball magnet, this man, Brad Crouch. Just 1-1 from set shots this year. Not a big goal kicker, as you just saw. This is a huge moment for him. Good-looking kick. Brad Crouch has kicked the first goal. Metricon Stadium on a Saturday night.
A good start by the Saints. I mean, Brisbane had the first 5 inside 50s in this game. It's now 11-8 St Kilda's way. They're winning the ball around the contest. They're set up beautifully across the whole ground, defending it well, getting some repeat entries. Missed a couple of shots at goal. Crouch, they needed that one. They needed to convert there. We're in this game, the Saints. He's had a really good year, Wilkie. An underrated player, probably doesn't get a huge amount of recognition across the competition, but he doesn't get beaten in one-on-ones. And that was a really good intercept, and then finishes it off inside 50.
11 goals to 1 in the last 3 and a bit opening terms for the Saints. They have been good early, as we mentioned pre-game. They've got themselves into this one. Up to the lines now to respond.
Downfield, Brisbane kick. Brisbane kick.
Nickel continues.
They're red hot on that now.
Coleman delivers it inside 50. McInerney touched. Play on the call. He can get the hands free. Farms out a handball. McCluggage. Robertson towards the top of the square. It pitches at the feet of Hipwood. He runs into Wilkie. McCluggage in there waiting for it to come out. Grabs the football now. Pressured by Sinclair over the top. And this hand-to-hand combat, Richo, feels like it suits the Saints.
Yeah, they're up for the fight. Contested possession there, as you see. And winning the clearances as well.
Danaher got Ryder off the footy. And he's just dragged out a little bit too far around the corner. I just think that is an underrated tactic for mine. Tom Hawkins has made an art form of it.
Dunstan goes for distance down the line. Again, they look for that one-on-one to their tall. This time it was Marshall against Andrews. Umpire gives him some time to get rid of it. To Zorko. He's stripped of it. Well played, Ben Long. And it's those one-on-one and two-on-two contests on the wing that St Kilda are winning.
Go behind your mark.
They're winning crucial one-on-ones.
And it enables them to hold it in their front half as opposed to it rebounding straight back towards the Brisbane forward 50. Long sets it up from Marshall, gets to the front. Neal, ferocious tackle from McKenzie.
Luke Dunstan again, continuing his really good recent form. He's had 9 disposals for the Saints.
Marshall down to Jones, tries to charge through Archie. Richo, you mentioned how good St Kilda are at forward half stoppages. Number 1 in the comp scoring from them, so they don't mind these repeat stoppages.
Both teams like it. Going to see a lot of it tonight.
Brisbane number 1 in the comp scoring from clearances full stop from anywhere on the ground. They like to string it together. Webster slips the tackler. Connolly, the youngster, delivers again in the Marshall direction. Madden's going to be under some pressure from Butler. Uses the support in Harris. Archie floats it down the line. McCluggage now gets a look at half-back.
Under some pressure from Jones, and that pressure has affected the kick, you'd think. Jimmy Webster, was he taking on a couple of tackles? He was.
Darcy, look, you could see Jones wanted to make contact there, but I think this year more than ever, they're red hot. If you make any split-second contact after a player kicks, it's down the ground every time. Made the right call there, Jones.
Just held himself back, Richo. The eyes lit up. Lions have not had a goalless quarter at all this year. They had to kick one. Charlie Cameron might get one right now. You reckon he'd kick it from there? Charlie's missed, I think.
Shanked it. He had too much time, Charlie.
Yes. Chris Fagan can't believe it.
Looks frustrated on the bench, doesn't he? His side, at the moment, not able to control the contest as they might like, as Dunstan receives from Hill. Off to Sinclair. Again, they look for Marshall pushing up to the wing. This time, Brisbane have got some numbers. Payne had to be quick. Again, the pressure came from Long. Adams squares it up and finds Birchall. The good in-your-face pressure at the moment from the Saints, just not allowing those Brisbane half-backs the time and space to set up. The switch to Robinson. Again, unable to play on from there. Has to stop and kick over the mark. Next in the line's McStay. He goes short. Nice kick. Just pulled it to Madden at the last minute. Neal sweeps round the back, runs to 55, chips it to the advantage of Hipwood. Couldn't quite hang on, but we'll get a free kick. Zorko will pay advantage and kick a goal in his 200th.
Nice finish.
On the board.
Nice finish, Jace. The skipper hits the scoreboard. Does every week. That's why he's been the four-time best and fairest winner at the Brisbane Lions. He's good for 20-plus disposals every week and a goal, and only the best do that. Gary Ablett's, Dustin Martins and Zorko. He's got similar numbers as Hipwood comes off. Well, that doesn't look good for Eric Hipwood. Should go down to Hodgie and check on that. Looked like inside of his left knee there as he landed, maybe a bit medial ligament-ish.
Yeah, you're right, Richo. As he landed there, he's grabbed his left knee as he landed awkwardly, so they've taken him off and look like they're going to take him straight down to assess him. They'll come back when we hear more.
Opened up the inside of his knee, which is normally a medial ligament.
Let's keep an eye on that. Eric Hipwood, a huge part of the forward setup. Clearly, and that off the boot of Dunstan Long. He attacks the ball with some real aggression. There's a Saint down behind play as well, so we'll come back and check that in a moment. Oh, Burns, he took on the fast Irishman, Madden, who got it away, still picked it up to Butler. He's surging it forward. Saints Birchall in the way to Payne. And now Bradley Hill and Zorko. Hill. Scoop up. So Max King in the hands of the trainers.
It's on back on. Stay out.
Let's hope he's just had the wind taken out of him.
Hold me up.
Free kick going the way of Joe Danaher.
Physio just gave the thumbs up for King. Looks like he was just winded.
Well, that's great news, Hodgie. Not going off the ground, so all clear for Big Max.
At the same time, Hipwood has just been taken down into the rooms.
Thanks, Hodgie. Birchall, big Oscar McInerney's deep forward at the moment. Membry's drifted back, and on the quarter-time siren, Tim Membry has taken a nice mark. That's a combative first quarter. There's been aggression. There's been a bit happening off the ball. Chris Fagan's team leading by 2 points at quarter time. We're going to come back Saturday night footy. It's the Lions and the Saints at Metricon Stadium. Feel like they got a lot right, Richo, and one man who's had an outstanding 5 weeks, Luke Dunstan, continued the host-plus performance player, 12 first-quarter disposals.
Yeah, he's had a terrific 5 weeks after coming back in from his spell at Sandringham, and he's just a hard nut in the middle of the ground. He's a competitive player, as we saw. He's got into the face of the Brisbane players. He's done it the last few weeks against Collingwood and Richmond. That gets him into the game. And he's obviously hungry at the moment to rejuvenate his career, and he is certainly doing that at the moment in this last 5-week period.
Luke Hodge at ground level. What are you saying, Hodgie?
First of all, there's a couple of injuries. King caught one in the guts down there. He's winded, but he's okay to play on. The biggest thing is injury to the Lions full forward, Hipwood. He's gone up, he's come down, he's landed awkwardly on that knee, and unfortunately they're doing the test, but they think it's a suspected ACL. So we did think medial at the start. but they're fearing the worst with how he landed in the test. So fingers crossed it's not as bad as what they're thinking.
Thoughts with Eric Hipwood, and you say, Hodgie, let's hope for the best. Foot did plant and the leg did twist. That would be a horrible blow. So Reece Matheson's into the game as we start the second term, Saturday night football. Jones the first touch, off to Steele, high ball to 50. Underneath it was Kent, was fisted away by Adams, straight to McCluggage, who's wrapped up by Butler and McKenzie. Ryder gets rid of McInerney. Neil reached out, roped it in. Again, Ryder tries to physically harass McInerney. Jones scraps a quick kick. Rich with a quick handball to McCluggage. Spears it back towards the wing. That's a good mark overhead from Highmore. Again, the Saints are able to win a one-on-one in the middle of the ground and keep it in their front half. This is McKenzie. Wheels onto his left boot, delivers long towards the pocket. King tries to set himself. Marcus Adams, well played. And what a difference he's made to this Brisbane defence.
Yeah, he's been huge. And he needed to get across there. I reckon King had really good position. He'd worked Andrews out of the drop zone, and Adams needed to help him out.
Most another mark to Highmore. Wilkie has been wrapped up.
He's been really good, Highmore, as an intercepting half-back in the last month. Wilkie's been good all year.
Ryder jumping aggressively. The bounce McCluggage. That's an ambitious kick, and Billings has got it.
St.Kilda.
So it's good
Straight back on the
position in good hands to score here, the Saints. What can Billings manufacture? Heading back in the Max King direction, but they're getting a lot of numbers back, and they're good at it. It was Marcus Adams previously, now the big O. Getting back to lender support, Bradley Hill.
Holding St.Kilda at the jumper. St.Kilda free kick, holding the jumper. Yeah.
Bradley Hill completely conceded that it was going against him. Gets a chance now. That's what's confronting him. Huge amount of numbers back, and Lions defence really well organised. Oh, he's thrown that out, Rich. No free kick. Rush through.
Oh, they don't become much more obvious than that one. Umpire obviously blindsided. That is a textbook.
Well, that's a goal.
Yep.
That's a goal gone missing there.
And Rich trots away from the defensive goal square.
Hard to see how that can be missed.
Fist away from Howard. Taken by McCarthy. This is where the Lions have been breaking down, and once again the Saints will be the first team back. Jones.
He's got the ground set up better than Brisbane at the moment.
Highmore retreats to Webster. Forward half at the moment. The game's been played 62% in St Kilda's front half, Richo. It was 95% Brisbane the first 5 minutes of the game, so it's been on St Kilda's territorial terms ever since.
They've really got their intercept game going.
Long receives from Billings. Down the line, just floating in from the side was McCarthy as Rich engaged his opponent Kent.
And the Saints are happy to use the boundary line coming out of defence. It protects the defence. If there's a turnover on the boundary line, you're probably not going to get exposed on turnover.
Look at McCarthy casually down the line. Danaher want to clean up his own man there. Jack Steele. McInerney, you can see picking himself up. He appears to be okay. Out to Billings. Little 15-metre balls, okay. Max King's pushed up. They really have tried to access the corridor, the Saints, as much as possible. This time King down the line, and Adams in the way. It's the key backs really holding up. Marcus Adams with another intercept mark.
Yeah, 11 intercept marks in the last 2 weeks, Darson. Coupled in this quarter alone. He has been a missing link in that defence. It's going to come back, though. Max King involved again. Right up the ground to Highmore. Thinks about the short option. Changes his mind. Goes more conservative to Wilkie.
Must be July, I think. Scoring dries up this time of year, doesn't it? Game of the MCG today, last night. Adelaide not being able to score.
Yeah, that free-flowing, high-scoring shootout football that was early in the season seems a long time ago right now.
She's all gone.
Jones goes short to Ross. It's become a possession game again. Billings.
Dry July,
back advantage.
Dry July, perfect. Kent goes inside 50. 2-on-2, long in from the side. Membry's going to claim it.
They deserve this, because this has been a great start to this second quarter. Owned the territory and the ball, just haven't been able to convert. And that's his trademark, Membry, the double jump.
Ben Long had plenty of it.
Assisted.
So Tim Membry has been such a sharpshooter over the years. He went through a period, he had the yips in 2018, saw a psychologist, turned those around. This year he's 2021. The year, and he's goal kicking. Now it's 2022.
Well, they just really hurt. Hard to get contested marks you've seen against Brisbane. You just have to convert those opportunities. Reward the enormous work upfield. Rich, look at that kick. How about that? Right into the middle of Metricon Stadium. And they're in the hands of Charlie. It's as easy as you like. They're going to steam through coast-to-coast goal. If Zorko can get it, a little too tall for him in the end. Puts a move on Ryder. Handball back McInerney. Archie deserves a goal this passage. And eventually they get it through Archie.
Couldn't
get that any better, could you?
That was unbelievable. But it just highlights what you were talking about. Das with that miss. Membry misses.
11-point swing, just like that.
Yeah, that hurts you big time. What a kick, though. They nearly mucked it up. Daniel Ridge, what a weapon. Would you like to kick the ball like this? He shaped, looked like he was going to go more down the line, and then pulled it back through the middle and deserved a goal that from the kick in. They tried to muck it up. What a kick.
Not often kick-ins make the highlight reels, Richo, but he's had a couple this year. But the other one wasn't a kick-in, it was that kick-off half-back against Geelong, straight up the middle. Yeah. McCarthy got on the end of that one as well. They are just a thing of beauty to watch. Daniel Rich hits one like that. McInerney, lovely pick-up from the goal kicker, Archie. Got the hands free to Neil. The Lions with a little surge now off the back of that goal. Saints have to wrestle back control, and they do through Hill to Billings, and now Long, who's been important. Again, they hug the line. Adams uses his body to try and nudge Ken under the drop zone. Robinson pops a handball back. High kick came from Payne. 2-on-1 for Cameron. Coming in at ground level was Archie. Cameron lays the tackle on Webster. Long feeds a little handball in the Jones direction. Coming through again was Webster. Taken down and wrapped up by McStay. It's still there, and in the end, McStay walks it over. There's Eric Hipwood. Played 110 of the last 113 games for Brisbane. He's just been ever reliable, and this could be a huge story.
Yeah, and that body blow, isn't it? Where the ice is situated there, it's not really on the inside of his knee, which is the medial, so that's not good news for Eric Hipwood.
Pushing the back. Go to him, Neil. Time on.
Yeah, sad sight that, isn't it? Eric Hipwood taking his seat. Here's Lachie Neal. Bends it back around Danaher, launching. McStay's taking the mark.
Thank you. First go. Come down for me. Thank you. I've explained it once, that's it. Thank you. Dan, that's it. No, Dan.
Howard asking the question, how did this footy pop up? He's saying, popped up because I fisted it up there, is his thought. What do you think, Richo?
I think he may have had a part of it. Hard for the umpire.
13 goals for the season. Dan McStay. Another poster.
Jump right out, please.
And without Hipwood out there tonight, Dan McStay now goes from third banana in that forward line to second, has a more important role to play.
Yeah, and it changes everything then, because changes the matchups, changes, you might be getting the third best defender to the second, so he's the type of player that'll work through it. He's a workhorse type forward.
Just want to ask Hodgie about this kick, Richo. Hodgie, you're a sensational kick. You played in a team renowned for his kicking. Did you ever play with a better kick than Daniel Rich?
I'll tell you what, he's up there. For someone who kick it like that from full back, I reckon two blokes would probably come to mind as Brent Guerra or Stuart Jewell, both blokes who could kick it 65 like that. But Richie's getting better and better with age, it looks like.
And it looks like a set play too. He ran left, but pointed the ball up the middle. And McCarthy knew exactly where he was going. Coleman to Neil. Now Starcevic. Since that goal, Brisbane looking a lot better. Ball inside 50. Here's McStay again. Wilkie hangs on for dear life to hold the football in.
Thanks, Dan.
So a little dangerous period here for the Saints to just match that intensity that Brisbane have brought in the last 5 minutes. Ryder got up high. Zorko lurking and draws a free kick.
Careful. Time back. 10 minutes here. That's it there. Mark's here, Paddy. I need you here. Thank you.
Kick to goal in the opening term.
Right out, Brad.
And this to open up a little buffer. The skipper delivers. So margin sneaks out to 13 points. Brisbane with back-to-back goals. In fact, 3 in a row. Include that goal a little bit earlier as well. Zorko's got a couple, Archie's got one. The margin's 13.
They're dangerous when they get stoppages in their forward 50. Players like Zorko, and he doesn't miss these. He's a great finisher. And they're happy to have repeat stoppages in their forward half because they know they can generate scores from them, and just highlights now that miss of Membry down the other end. Last 2 goals to Brisbane off the back of the Membry miss.
McInerney and Ryder. Clever kick forward from Dunstan. Now it's picked up by Burns, got it back to Jack Steele. And Marcus Adams, hard man to outmark. Ron Marshall did pretty well, Billings. Fed the handball back to Crouch. A little fumble from McKenzie now. It's Steele who unloads a long one to the square. Butler, not a known high flyer, but he did really well. Clever little topo. This is smart bit of play, but just couldn't get it online in the end of Joe.
Yeah, he had the right idea, really quick to get it to foot. Smart like that.
Just hasn't quite been able to find the goals in recent times. Dan Butler kicked 5-10 in his last 9 games.
He relies more on fast ball movement, Dan Butler, with his pace, but
Coleman taken down by Highmore. Burns links up with Ross. Another youngster involved in this passage is Connolly. Long. Back to Burns, has got a man inside and finds Billings. Little defensive breakdown there from Brisbane, and Dev Robertson turns around as if to say, well, who was on him?
all on his own on the fat side. That's definitely a breakdown in the Brisbane defensive structure.
So Jack Billings hasn't been finding as much of the football this season. Needs to make his opportunities count for the response. Exactly what the Saints needed. Just steady things, get themselves back on solid ground after Brisbane kicked a couple in a hurry. Billings with the finish.
Really well done there. Some young players involved, Burns and Connolly. That was the play there. Went to go boundary, came back inboard. Billings was basically there on his own the whole time in behind. You can see Adams looking behind going, who had him? But it was Connolly. Took a chance, came inboard, and that shifted all the defenders. Really good play.
Nice bit of movement, wasn't it, from the youngster Connolly in his third game? It's great pressure. Dunstan, he just hunted after Zach Bailey. Caused the turnover. Ryder was the target. Starcevic. They're under a bit of pressure. Payne got it to Robertson. And the Lions, Sinclair in really good shape. He's going to pull the trigger through Sanaa Ford. Membrew, that such a trademark jump, isn't it? Thinking he's got one in the mouth. It's in Membrew outside his range. Can King get a look at it? This is what Butler tends to swoop on back to Billings. Kick the last goal, and that is in the arms of a man they don't want to have the ball.
Saints have got the territory game going. I mean, they're dominating 24 inside 50s to 15. And Brisbane have been the best team in the last month at winning inside 50 counts. So
pressure came from Butler, affected the ridge kick, creates the opportunity for Sinclair to get it to Ross. And then to King, and it was just that pressure from Butler that enabled or made sure that Rich couldn't lace out a target.
And again, they're intercepting, they're getting repeat entries. Must hit the scoreboard. There's a bit of pressure there from Butler. And if you can get intercepts there, generally you will have forwards out. And King was the player this time. Must convert. Got to make the most of this advantage they've got with territory.
17-19 for the season from set shots, so going at less than 50%. No problems there. Saints tied up at Metricon. So great response from St Kilda. They get back-to-back goals and level things up.
They're playing a good competitive brand of footy here, the Saints. Brisbane will have their moment. This is not something Brisbane have been used to in the last month. Being hemmed in their back half like this. And a few concerns for Chris Fagan.
And great pressure there from Butler, just putting a little bit of chase pressure on Daniel Rich as he kicked along. But this was like what St Kilda were doing early in the year. They were getting a lot of inside forward 50s, but they just couldn't convert. Up until the last four, they had one goal from 21 inside 50s, and they've kicked 2 from their last 4. So at least they're starting to get a little bit of reward for the work they've been putting in.
Like a sprinter in the starters box there, Dan Butler, wasn't he? He was
smart what he did though, wasn't it?
High contact, St Kilda. Play on.
Saints again. Zach Jones, high up and under kick. Membrew a chance. Off front and centre, Burns. Hit it with speed. Get out of my way, he says, I'll kick the goal, and he's overcooked it. Said Ross. A little bit of advice maybe around steading up, but they have got a bit of momentum, the Saints.
Yeah, they have, and he's got something, Burns. Bit of energy, enthusiasm, but he's got a bit of pace. I like him.
Starcevic goes long to a big pack of players, and Ryder takes a good, strong, contested mark. And again, the Saints will turn them around and send it back inside 50.
Come right out. Time on.
Ryder pops it up towards the pocket. King flies over the top and just plucks it. Starcevic had front position.
50, you've held in the ground. Let it go now, Lockie.
Dunstan.
And a 60-40 shot becomes a certainty.
Dunstan drew it again. He's just getting inside their heads a bit.
So Max King will kick back-to-back goals, and the Saints will retake the lead.
They deserve this. They've dominated this quarter. St Kilda 13-3 inside 50s. They had to hit the scoreboard, and they have. The last 4 or 5 entries have been really good. Good work there. Just Kent just getting into Andrews, and that's what got King the break. And if he gets a break and can jump at the footy, the reach that he has, that's all that he needs. So Dean Kent, that'll be highlighted by Brett Ratton on Monday.
Oh, the coaches will love that
They
work.
love it.
Sensational, Richo. Zach Jones, here they come. Dunstan, Steele, back to Dunstan. Saints kicked 1 goal in their first 79 kicks. It was 3 in their last 11, so they are right back in, taking up the heat to the Lions.
Holding Brisbane.
McInerney calls for it in the corridor. Bit too big for the attempted spoil from Kent. And red turnover. It might have been off the boot of Birchall. Here come the Saints again.
Straight to Sinclair, off to Membry, who's pushing up and providing that link target. He'll deliver it long. Here's King again, 2 to beat. Adams, so strong in the air, spills to Long, spins, gives, Burns, goal!
And that started again by the intercept. They cannot get through Brisbane. The Saints are very well organised behind the footy. And it was Sinclair that time that started it. And now they're getting some forwards out because that's the 9th entry in a row from St Kilda. And the defenders need a spell. They're starting, their tongues are hanging out. They're getting a bit of space now, the Saints. Because they've been defending non-stop this quarter, Brisbane, they're starting to get a bit tired. The Saints are getting space now. Look at that. Burns just wandered in on his own. Had an eternity to finish that off. Well done, Ben Long there. A little ground ball get. And Burns has had a good quarter as well. Some important touches. The Lions need a centre clearance here.
How good Max King. He's clunked a couple. He made sure that one came to ground. What about Dunstan? Disposal number 17, Crouch. Gets it back to Billings. He's a left footer, as we know. That time, all right. King's really taken it up to Harris Andrews.
Mine.
6-1 out of the middle. Means your forwards get first crack at it. Your defenders push up. Their intercept game's strong. And they're dominating.
McInerney, it's just a wild slap forward. More pressure for the Lions defence to handle. It was Membry's handle back to Steele. Concedes some ground. Sinclair stepped around Matheson to the goal square. Andrews. Oh, Max King. He's beat the 2-time All-Australian fullback again.
Move away. Move away. Mark. Move away. Can't be doing that. Oscar. Come out now. Thank you. He's involved in the contest. Move away. Let him stand up. Let's go. Go on, clear it out. Thank you. Harris.
How exciting is this?
Move outside.
Huge moments for the young gun.
It's the reach. I mean, Andrews has got huge reach as well, but this guy's 200. If he jumps with those arms, the wingspan, once he gets a little bit more weight on and grows in confidence, sky's the limit for Max.
Just feel that confidence growing. He kicked the career high 5 goals back in round 5. This an opportunity to kick 3 for the corner. Max King's got his 3rd. That is huge. What a sight it is to see, Richo.
It's great for him. I mean, he was under the pump there, wasn't he, with his goal kicking. Everyone had a say on it. Everyone wanted to talk about it. And he has to go and work on it. You've got to convert. And he's getting some reward tonight. This has been a dominant quarter. Everywhere you look on the stat sheet, the Saints dominating.
And you see this nice high kick, and this is a strength of King. His run and jump. Harris Andrews there backs himself to run and clear that. If I was Harris, I'd try and push across, take away his run and jump, his athleticism, make it into an arm wrestle, make it into a big fight with that marking contest. Harris is bigger and stronger than him, but as soon as you get into an athletic run and jump, that's King's game.
Well, that's what he wants.
Superb mark from him and a great finish.
Last 10 minutes for the Saints. 19 kicks, 8 inside 50s, 5 goals. 5 goals from 19 kicks. They are on top right now. Matheson receives from Bailey. Brisbane just need a bit of time in their forward half. Give their defenders some relief. Lions almost. Sinclair ran him down. Lions then wraps him up and holds it in. And the Brisbane defence sigh a huge sigh of relief. They can catch their breath. One of the flag contenders being challenged hard here. Marshall laid it down. McKenzie taken down by Danaher. Ball spills out. Can Lyons and McCluggage, one of them, milk a free? Not on this occasion. Look at that territorial dominance from the Saints.
And what's more impressive is Brisbane have been doing this to teams. They're not used to this.
Marshall dribbles it outside 50. Bailey will be the first man back. High kick towards the pocket. Howard the slap away. McCluggage from the boundary. Webster in best position.
Clear it out here. Right out, guys, right out. Big kick, clear the protected area. Play on. You.
Jimmy Webster happy to go to Ryan Marshall, who's surrounded by opponents. Billings bouncing kick long. It was a really tricky one to handle. Matt and the Irishman played it nicely. McCluggage had the voice of the 200 game of Zorko. Got to push to the back.
Here.
Against Burns.
Here it is.
Back there, leg.
As you kick.
Back there.
Probably not a bad one to give away there. He was never going to be able to run him down.
Dane Zorko have to kick it about 48 metres. 200th game. Won 4 consecutive best and fairest, 2016 through to 2019. What a record. Beautiful looking kick. Struck it superbly. He's got 3 goals in his 200th game.
Doesn't think about it too much. It's just a nice approach at goal. The skipper, Dane Zorko. Boy, they needed that. It's been a terrific quarter by St Kilda. Just haven't been able to get their hands on the footy. It's a beautiful kick. It's really times it beautifully, Zorko. Doesn't try and kick it too hard.
Goal apiece in the opening term. 5 goals to 3 in the second. In favour of the Saints. The margin's at 11 points as we close in on half-time. Brisbane skipper steps up and responds as the Lions try to regain control. Ryder floats over the top of McInerney, tries to get it to Crouch, who's been quiet. McCluggage can't get rid of Ross. Crouch is crunched by Neal. Jones comes in. And Dunstan's had 17 touches. He's picked up the slack. Crouch just 7 so far, Richo, averaging 27 a game.
Yeah, Billings has been good this quarter as well. He's won a heap of the footy.
Let it go, free kick's been paid.
But he's doing the hard stuff, the Saints.
So free off the ball for Lockie Neal. He might have copped one in the chest. Here's a look. There is Crouch. Deliver inside 50 off the hands of McInerney. Ross, quick kick, but it's going to come back because Payne's got it. So now the Lions with a couple of minutes of control. Exactly what they were needing. Neal wanted to step Butler. Chips it to the pocket. Off the hands of Danaher, taken by Ryder. Little fumble from Howard, tries to get it to Webster. He can't escape the clutches of McCluggage.
He's nearly marked about 4, I reckon, in there, Big Oscar. So he's doing the right thing. He's pushing forward on Ryder. Just hasn't been able to hold on to his marks.
Reece Matheson started as the medical sub. Came off the injured Eric Hipwood. Nice hands from Steele. Zach Jones, this is what he does really well. Gets through traffic. Crouch has been quiet. Long. Dean Kent have worked it through nicely. That kick, a bit of an up and under. John Marshall. Madden well tackled. Umpire letting it go. You won't mind that, the Saints, though, Richo. Linking up by hands. They know to transition the ball pretty well so far tonight. So McInerney, clean possession. Shade off the shins of Matheson. Sinclair, Hill. Back to Sinclair, back to Ross. Little short chip out wide. Luke Dunstan's had 18 disposals coming up. Just on the ground by some way. He pops it down the line. Marshall again. Matheson tried to milk a free kick. Umpire wasn't having a bar of it. Daniel Rich flicks it out to McCarthy. Everything's under pressure. Skies the kick down the line. And Membry's back there.
Just shoring up the defence with a couple of minutes to go till half-time. Spots Ross down the line. Zorko got across to force a contest. Crouch puts his frame over the football, harassed by Birchall. Neal takes down the youngster in Connolly. Ryder tries to get over the top of McInerney. And in the process gives away the free kick. McInerney down the line. There's Membry again through his hands, off the hands of Danaher as well. Dunstan keeps finding the football. Ross retreats. Howard assesses his options, got a couple of defensive ones, and Webster will have it, hemmed in his own defensive 50. The Saints just need to be tidy here. Membry had to come hard over the top of Lyons. Wilkie, Membry, and they do escape.
Ryder in the one-on-one. McInerney did well to smash it forward. McCarthy's hand's good. Zorko has
downfield.
Glenn Hill. They're going to pay the advantage. So under 30 seconds, Grant Birchall, normally a beautiful kick. Charlie Cameron's been super quiet. Front and centre chance. Robinson, late goal coming up, missed it.
Yeah, Webster and Wilkie been really good one-on-ones as well. Webster holding his own there. Wilkie's done that all year.
So 17 seconds remaining. Rowan Marshall, you can see right of screen. Just kick it long and wide towards the wing. Let's waste that time. Burn it off the clock. Ryder was there as well. Robinson tackled by Billings, who did a really good job to not get into his back.
Mitch. Come on, mate. Oscar. Paddy.
Matheson stripped of it. Neal taken to ground by Crouch. And we've got ourselves a ball game on Saturday Night Football.
A terrific second quarter by St Kilda. They lead Brisbane by 10 points at half-time on the Gold Coast. Brad Johnson, Jordan Lewis. A nice little fight back from the Lions through skipper Dane Zorko, but the Saints, they have St Kilda get it done tonight.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, absolutely. They're full of confidence too after two recent wins. So they would have had their rest at half-time. Another half to go. Push right to the line, keep that physicality up. There we see the unfortunate story of tonight in Eric Hipwood, but they've got to get it done without him.
So 10 points the margin. Second half action coming up from Metricon Stadium. Saturday stretch follows this game right here on Fox Footy. We'll have a full wrap of Super Saturday, but for now, it's live to the Gold Coast.
Chops around, so it is a very, very big out for the Brisbane Lions.
The job's half done for the Saints. Can they now go on with it? We'll have a restart. The Saints have only won 5 of 14 quarters after half-time over the last 7 weeks. We mentioned at the start of the game, Richo, the fader problem. Their intensity's been fantastic. Can they keep it going for another half of football? Ryder, beautiful tap. Down to Crouch. Good effort from Zorko, affected the kick. Allowed Archie to run onto it. He gives it to Lyons. Flips it wide. McCluggage is next in the chain. Delivers down the line short for Danaher, who's had a reasonably quiet night. Just the 5 touches and a behind for Joe.
They haven't had any fast, quick ball movement through the middle of the ground, though, which doesn't help the forwards. Cameron, Danaher, they've got to win the ball. Fakes said it there. It's pretty simple what they've got to do. Win some ball in here at the coalface.
Picked up by the big O McInerney to McCluggage. And now Lockie Neal. There's no Hipwood. McStay picking up the roll. Bailey, McInerney. Not a bad idea, the centering kick. Bodies flying everywhere.
Advantage.
Bradley Hill's going to take the advantage. And this is what he does so well. He runs, he takes the game on, but he's taken on too much. Thought that was incorrect disposal. They let it go. McCluggage back to McCarthy. You heard the call. Touch play on Charlie Cameron. Has not been cited in this game, just the 2 first half disposals.
Even then, when the turnover comes from Brad Hill, they're in the face of the Brisbane Lions forwards. You thought a couple of times they were going to be out here, but the pressure remains at the ball carrier, and the Saints force a stoppage.
Danaher nudged under it by Ryder. Beautifully read by Bailey. Zach Bailey gets a free passage to goal. Kicks his 22nd of the year. And the young gun brings his side back within 4 points.
So another goal from a stoppage, and that's just really poor there. Jack Sinclair just gets caught ball watching, doesn't even know that Bailey is there. Had no touch on him. That's just a lapse defensively. Sinclair's been good in this role. Down back, he's in really good form. Just lost concentration there on a super dangerous player around the stoppage.
Ideal start for the Lions. The quick first goal of the second half.
He wouldn't have been able to believe his luck there, Bailey. No body on him at all around a stoppage, 20 metres out from goal.
He's as good as anyone in that situation for mine. Zorko trying to find a passage through. McInerney. He's good enough to get the ball free. Neil fighting hard. You can tell that Chris Fagan has given them a bit of a rev up about their contested situation. Here's Bailey again. Charlie Cameron almost threw it out. Hill got back. Zach Bailey's got him, took him a full rotation. McStay stole it out of there. Danaher. It's floated into his arms.
Come round, Joe.
So Big Joe.
Time on. Get him back. He's right on him. Stand there.
Take some kicking from here. Is he going to get the left foot check side or the right foot snap? He's going to go the right foot bender. He hit it pretty well. Back-to-back goals, Brisbane. So the Lions get the lead back as quick as that, and it's a nice reply. The coach, we feel like he gave them a bit of a rocket, and they've responded.
Might have been the old hairdryer treatment, I reckon, Duke, in the meeting room there by Chris Fagan. They've come out, they've gone bang. 19 disposals to 2. 8 contested possessions to 3, 3 inside 50s, 2 goals, and you can see the intent already. Fortuitous here, Joe Danaher in the right place at the right time, but it was just their pressure around the ball. They're hungry for it. I mean, that ball wasn't meant to go to Danaher, but he had to finish it off, Joe, and he did on his non-preferred leg. This is a good start, good response. What have the Saints got now?
So in the first 2 minutes of the quarter, Brisbane have kicked as many goals as St Kilda have had touches. 2 apiece. As Zorko's taken down by Steele.
I don't reckon coaches, you know,
Thanks, guys.
go off their dials too much these days, but I reckon every now and then you have to, and I reckon Fags gave them a fair bake at half-time. Whipped them into action.
Ryder got the tap, can crouch, get really busy in this second half for St Kilda, who now have to once again step up and match that intensity. Chris Fagan's had that look on his face all night. Slight displeasure. Ross to Steele, who's run down by Zorko, and now it's the Lions muscling up around the contest.
Hodgie, is he capable of a little one every now and then?
Oscar and Paddy.
Fags?
What was that, Richard? Can he give a bit of a spray?
Fags capable of a little spray every now and then?
Oh, yeah, mate. He's a football coach. Any football coach is capable of giving it. He's passionate about football, so he'll let him know when he's not happy.
Particularly the old school ones. Here's Butler. Soccer's inside 50. Madden tracks back. Adams did well through traffic. Andrews links up with Starcevic. Spirals a kick only as far as Brad Hill. Can the Saints now get a little bit of time with the football?
Burns thought about the handball. Instead, he pulls the trigger, and he's got Membriel on his own, so just dropped into a hole. You can see Harris Andrews' displeasure at the defensive zone.
Happened a little bit tonight, hasn't it?
Sorry, Rich, I missed before Chris Fagan explaining that they have confirmed that is an ACL,
Yes.
Eric Hipwood. It is a tragic story. I didn't hear the initial diagnosis, so that is a really sad issue.
Said they believe it, and they'll have to do the scans, but all the early indications, unfortunately, Darcy,
They
that.
almost never get that wrong, guys. The doctors are very clear on that. So here's Membry. Can they get An urgent reply. Membry slotted it. What a kick that was. Tim Membry. Something special. High quality game, this one.
They've fallen down a few times, though, tonight, where the arms are out and everyone's looking at each other going, how did he get free? So a few lapses have cost the Lions in their defensive 50.
How does that happen, Richo? Is that just a rotational thing, players changing positions and losing touch?
Yeah, I think what happens now with the, the zoning defence, at times you can just get caught out where the player can get in behind. Let's have a look at it here. Tim Membry's just been able to come down the side there on the boundary line, just out of screen to our left here. No one's followed him. Got him behind the defence, and that's just probably ball watching. All the defenders are watching the play up the ground. Membry was able to sneak in behind.
It's been impressive from both these teams tonight. They've responded when the challenge has been put to them. St Kilda with an all-important goal. McInerney just thumps it forward. This game's gone up a notch in the third term. Coleman was held by Hill.
Canadian back here behind your mark. Thank you. Careful, come back, come back. Stand there right now, time back on.
McInerney waving his arms 20 metres out from goal. Get it to me. He obliges. Pack flies over the top. McStay. Spectacular. We mentioned the significance. With Hipwood down, McStay becomes the second tall forward alongside Danaher. That was a great grab.
Taking a couple of contested marks. He just got to run and jump at it. And a little block there, Cameron. Just did enough on Wilkie there that allowed McStay to get that run and jump.
Only 4 contested marks for the team in the first half. It's generally a strength. McStay puts the Lions back in front. So goal for goal early in this third term. The Brisbane Lions, who have got such aerial marking power at both ends of the ground, they weren't able to capitalise and control the air in the first half, but that big mark from McStay provides immediate dividends.
A nicely weighted kick there, and McStay coming out with a nice block from Charlie Cameron. Actually, they're pointing to the top of the goal square. That's a dangerous spot. That's where they want it. And Charlie just selfless little act there for McStay to take that mark. With Hipwood out, it's now given the Lions forwards a different look. You've got McStay and Danaher deep, and playing up high, you've got Kitty Coleman, Zorko, Charlie Cameron, and Link McCarthy. They were a bit stagnant in the first half. There's a lot more movement there now.
They've made an adjustment, and they've responded everywhere. Lions. McKenzie fought his way through. Crouch. Back to McKenzie. Saw a little gap. Took it on to Jones. Out wide to Burns.
Play on.
Oh, no, the kick has missed the target badly. Opens the door, Zorko. You know, Daniel will love to play on. They're streaming back with pace. Charlie Cameron, can he get a little one-on-one look here? McStay.
Blocks St Kilda.
Yeah, that was against Cameron. He didn't even look at the ball. He got away with one before on McStay. Look at Cameron here. Look at his eyes. Not interested in the ball. Good pick up by the umpire.
Wilkie to Connolly. Can the Saints now meet the challenge in this third? Membry goes with that vertical, jumps straight up, doesn't he? Off and off 2 feet. There's Rich. Back towards half forward. Coleman involved. Couldn't quite haul it in. And Webster wraps him up on the deck. As you heard there from the umpire.
St Kilda.
That's not right.
Thank you. Stand there.
He's already on the ground, and I don't think he dragged it in. But anyway.
Interesting call from the umpire as Webster's kick is going to get cut off by McCluggage.
Thank you. Stand.
He goes short. Pushes it wide, and here's McStay working all the way up to the wing.
Into the hands of Daniel Rich. I've already seen some of his extraordinary kicking on display tonight. Harris Andrews had a busy night with Max King. Matheson. Just edging forward, you can see Lions have got fair bit to contend with in their forward 50. So Rich, eventually have a look at the penetration on that kick. And well done, Highmore. Mature age recruit who's taken to AFL football like a veteran, Richo.
And that's what he's been doing. Really good intercept mark, and that was the best of his intercept marks tonight. That was in a big pack of players.
Overlap run provided here by Jones. He got it from long. Time to just poise and press pause.
Just lost a bit of shape forward of the footy at the moment, the Saints. That's why they had to press pause. That's smart, though. They haven't blazed away. Let their forward group set up.
Ben Long now pokes it down the line. Target was Marshall. Ground level, Lions. Payne tries to spin through the Ross tackle. Quick hands from Madden. Busting through was Long. Created a path for Burns. Flips a handball to Billings. McKenzie dumped in a tackle by Rich. Play on as Dunstan delivers inside 50. And here's Membry again. Slotted a magnificent goal from the pocket earlier. This one just outside his range. Goes to the pocket this time for King. Well done, Coleman. Max King with 3 goals in the second term as Chris Fagan watches on. Big night for the Lions. They're in the race for the top 2. And these are the sort of games you have to find a way to win.
Membry is manhandled there by the big O. Over the head of Danaher. We're impressed with Highmore's composure. Back to Howard. Now Wilkie. Normally uses it really well by foot. Callum Wilkie. Oh, Jones, good hands.
On St Kilda.
Mark or a free kick. Jones has got Membry on the short lead. Max King wants it in the pocket. That's where he goes. Andrews arrived late.
There's Jack Steele on the interchange bench. Hasn't touched it this quarter. So they've just been lacking a little bit around the footy this quarter. One of the reasons is Jack Steele just hasn't been able to get back into the game after half-time.
Not looking overly happy about something on the bench. Maybe it's just the fact that he is there. Madden.
Dangerous tackle. Dangerous. Heads in the vulnerable position.
A few of those tonight, Dan Butler. Hasn't been his night.
James Madden will get the free kick.
Full pace, I can't. I know what you're saying. We've still got to pay the free kick though, Dan. Thanks, Dan. Okay, time back on. Stand now.
What do you make of that, Richo?
Yeah, I get the slinging motion. I think when the head slings back and hits the ground, the umpire's going to pay them.
Rich to Adams. So the Saints were so good at this part of the game in the first half. They just prevented Brisbane from free-flowing football through their zone by having players like Rowan Marshall and Paddy Ryder and Tim Membry down the line doing exactly that. Taking intercept marks and turning it around and pumping it back inside 50. High ball. King worked under it by Andrews. Spills to the deck. Billings gets to work. Gives it to Jones. Back to Billings. Missed the target.
Brisbane.
Umpire said he missed the fist.
Stand now, Zach. Push out.
And McCluggage takes the free kick.
Disposal number 17 coming up for Hugh McCluggage. Consistently wins big numbers. Lockie Neal. Archie. Not a great ball for Joe Danaher and Dougal Howard. You can see the displeasure from Joe. Not what key forwards like Richo.
No, they don't. Just got caught a little bit too corridor there, Joe, and he was out of position when they won the ball on the wing. Just got to be careful there as that next forward down the line. That you're not too far away. You need to be a kick away from the contest.
Marcus Adams had his name written all over that footy. Been a powerful intercept marker in recent times. Lockie Neal saw Reece Matheson and decided against that opportunity, but he's going to come back in the corridor to Harris Andrews. Sizes up what's in front of him, takes a bounce, the big defender. Runs away and then places it nicely for Robinson.
He's 75 from goal. Delivers to the pocket. Cameron was going to stay down, then realised no one was going up, so he had to fly. And Highmore took it again.
I think he would have given away a free kick there anyway, Charlie. Just took his eyes off the ball again when it was in the air.
So Highmore's flirting with the corridor here.
Sorry, guys. The Lions have to realise with Hipwood not there, they've got one less tall, so they can't just keep bombing it in. They've taken 3 marks inside 4 in defensive 50 just from blaze-aways from the Lions midfield. Be smarter, lower your vision, kick the grass if you have to.
Yeah, great point, Hodges. Webster gives it to Sinclair, and now they look for the switch. It was a beautifully weighted kick. Just got over Robertson's head. Rosk can release Jones. He can have a couple of bounces. Trots to 55. Wants an option to come at him. Well played, McInerney got back in the hole. Umpire says play on. Butler receives the handball and snaps the goal. Saints back in front. Umpire waiting for the all clear. They're going to check it.
Please check to see what's touch.
Review underway. Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball is touched by the right hand of the Brisbane defender. Decision on the scoreboard.
Sharp work from the umpires.
Yeah, very good. Quick review, we like that. And Oscar McInerney has had a big sigh of relief because...
Hand up, please. Zach, the other one. I've clearly seen I've decided not to pay a free kick.
You're 6'8" and you drop those sort of marks. This one here, yeah, that's your bread and butter. You've got to mark those.
Archie immediately gang tackled.
Fine. Oscar, come on, here you go. Play on.
Hard to find your way out of
Fine.
that contested
Straight up.
situation.
Straight up.
This game really
Stand up,
evenly
please.
balanced at the moment, isn't it?
Stand up.
Yeah.
Move away.
It's a bit of aggro around the contest.
Oscar.
Stakes are huge. The Saints take it.
In Brisbane.
Free kick going McInerney's way.
Free kick. Hold. Time back on. Stand.
Here to the Saints, and you feel like they've got themselves on a real roll in the competition. And could they do something special in the run home? And the Lions, they've got top 2 ambitions, no doubt about it. Look at McCarthy. They contest hard again. Neil, Zorko. It's been a real fight, this one.
Turn back in on arm wrestle. We've ended another phase of the game, Richo. We had free-flowing football in the second quarter, early in the third, and now it's become a lockdown.
Certainly has. That's what we saw early in the game.
Jones, McKenzie, who can break the stalemate? Kent tries to get away from Starcevic, does enough to get it to Hill. Overlap run now, Sinclair. Little delivery was clever to McKenzie. He can cross the 50, get a look from 48, goes to Membry.
And just as we talk about an arm wrestle, the Saints get a bit of flow. Those handballs through the corridor. Nothing better if you're a forward than this. Look at this here. Couple of handballs, balls in the corridor. And Membry, he had all of that space there. He knew exactly where he needed the ball. Perfect kick, good delivery, great run, good ball movement.
Yeah, he had Jack Payne where he wanted him a long way out, didn't he? Nothing Payne could do.
Nothing.
So Membry, can he now finish for another lead change? Seventh lead change of the evening. St Kilda back in front. Tim Membry kicks his second of the quarter. And the Saints respond once again. Possessions and a couple of goals for Tim Membry. It's been important.
How important it is to get your half-backs involved, running down the ground for handball receives, and you had 2 of them involved there, Hill and Sinclair, doing their job, running from behind the football. And you get it in the corridor and it gives your forwards everywhere to lead, and Membry made a good one.
Neil to Zorko. It's Matheson sitting underneath it, but what about this man's game, Tom Highmore?
It's his 3rd this quarter, does.
He's been outstanding in defence for the Saints. Crouch.
Lions have got to look at their ball use, though, going inside 50.
Yes, Hodgie said a moment ago, they've not adjusted to Eric Hipwood's injury. If you just tuned in, it appears as though he's done his ACL there at Kipwood. We hope the news is better, but Chris Fagan indicating to us a short time ago that that was the case, which is a football tragedy really for Eric Hipwood. So now Harris Andrews. That's a nice kick to Birchall, who just looks up and says, I need some movement. Got to give me something better than that. And Dougal Howard, the Saints defence at the moment, really got all the answers, and Sinclair back through the corridor.
Finds Dean Kent, who was the late inclusion for Mason Wood, who had hamstring tightness in the warm-up. Connolly. Marshall cut across the lead. Ball inside 50. Long takes Neil down. Marshall farms it out. Will it sit for Jones? It will. Will he straighten up? Comes back on the right into the corridor and finds Leo Connolly, the 19-year-old from Moe in Gippsland. Chance to go back and kick his first goal in AFL football.
They look more likely once they intercepted half-back St Kilda. The ball movement is just a bit better than the Lions at the moment. They've got a bit more run. They're getting more handball receives. And they're turning defence into attack a lot quicker than what Brisbane have been able to in this last little period.
He's taken a pick 64 in 2019. One of those youngsters who had to sit out all of last year, just play the scratch matches before finally getting an opportunity at AFL level this year. And he kicks his first in the big time. Saints get back-to-back goals. They're out to an 11-point lead once again. And the pendulum of this game just keeps on swinging. It was all Brisbane early in the third term. They came out with murderous intent. St Kilda managed to steady, and now they're back in control.
Finish, Connolly, young players. You love seeing that if you're a Saints fan. And now Brisbane are going to find an answer again. The Saints have had a bit more run, creating some corridor ball, which has been the important thing in those last couple of entries. A lot easier to score when you're coming through there. It's got a bit more bounce off half-back.
Ryder and McInerney. Nice pick up from Neil. Lions at Tumbler. Overrunning at Archie. Hill came in with a clean pick-up through the hands of Crouch to steal. They open up the corridor again. Dunstan. Well played, Harris Andrews.
That's a worry, though. That's 3 times in a row they've been able to just bounce straight back out of their back line.
Andrews loads up down the line. Kenzie, again, little chipper. Now into the hands of Brad Crouch. Puts it out in front of Dean Kent, and kick was beautifully weighted.
So that's another, again, it hits the ground, and the Saints are getting involved and linking up, looking dangerous. Look at this, get it to ground. It's got more numbers running forward.
It's a huge kick for Dean Kent. Spent 6 years at the Melbourne Footy Club. Into his 3rd season at St Kilda. Late inclusion into this game. And he's steered it through for a minor score.
Missed the last 8 weeks with concussion-like symptoms. Really struggled to get over a hit that he copped early in the year. Last couple of games in the VFL. And back into the big time tonight for Dean Kent. Andrews receives. So just under 4 minutes remaining to three-quarter time, and the Saints lead by 12 points. It was 10 at the half. Andrews down the line. Madden spoiled high by Membry.
Yours. Okay, stand there.
And not for the first time tonight. James Madden surprised to get a free kick.
Come around. Someone.
Back to Andrews. Now to Birchall, had to stretch for it. Looks to release the man from behind. It's Adams. It was a nice kick. He can take off and deliver long to 50. Archie out of position. It gets past Wilkie. He's got a little bit of time. Confronted by 3 lines. Throws it on the boot. Did it well. Worked the kick to McKenzie and found him just inside the line. You can see Kent just push back to create some space off Starcevic. and be the next option. Burns.
Definitely missing Hipwood's movement down there.
Burns, he pushed down the line as well. Instead, he went to McKenzie. Mark taken in front of Zorko.
Because he leads with intent, Hipwood. When he runs through the zoning players, he draws attention to himself. Even if he doesn't get the ball, it drags defenders out of the position they want to stay in, and it opens up space for others. So he's going to be a miss.
The bold kick was a good one from Burns to Marshall. It was a hard-in-mouth moment. It was a bit of an all-or-nothing play. And it's all for the Saints because Billings now has it 45 out. So this to equal the game-high lead of 18 points. Big moment late in the third term. Billings takes a couple of deep breaths. Gives it a ride from 50. Just tugged it to the right.
Walk away.
That would have been big. Minute 52 until three-quarter time. A chance to be out. As Chase just said, to a good game-high lead. Lions gets it back to Rich. It's an important time to you. A goal either way might be significant. Here's Birchall. Just thinking about what was coming next. It was always a good option to give it back to Daniel Rich. Have a look at that ball. 45-metre bullet to Danaher. He's been smothered nicely. Dougal Howard turns it over. This handball a little too hot. First one on the scene, though, Bradley Hill. Out wide to Sinclair. Chip down the line. Billings flicks it on. Bradley Hill back himself in to take Joe Danaher. He puts it out in front of Seb Ross. Wants Kent in front. Starcevic didn't give away a free kick. And here's Lockie Neal with some composure. The quarterback in Rich. A long bomb, and well done, Wilkie. Good mark.
Took it on the way down. Brings it inboard again. A bold kick to Marshall to try and open up the corridor. You can see Connolly at the bottom of your screen. Webster there as well. They look to set up the switch, or at the very least spread that Brisbane zone so they can attack through the corridor.
And there's Membry. Every quarter he gets back for the last minute or so.
McKenzie to Webster. Over the head of Ryder. Andrews tracks it out to Adams. For distance, McCarthy slides in. Still 15 seconds for the Lions if they can get it through the middle. McCluggage, Robinson, confronted by Sinclair. Back onto the left. Chip kick to Bailey, just outside range at the moment. 4 seconds left, needs to find a target. And an opportunity late goes begging for the Lions. You can see the frustration of Dane Zorko.
Just once in Chris Fagan's career has that man overcome a double-figure three-quarter deficit. It's back in 2017 against the Bombers, so some work to do for the Lions. The Saints have thrown down a big challenge. Three-quarter time, Metricon Stadium. The Saints lead it by 13 points. An AFL Twitter tonight and vote for what you're loving. Is it Dane Zorko's 200th game milestone? Is it Daniel Rich's kicking tonight, or Max King rising three-quarter time? The challenge in front of the Brisbane Lions. You can see their coach all over trying to make it happen. Let's get down to Hodgie.
Yeah, thanks, Das. What caught my eye so far in the game tonight is St Kilda's been really aggressive at the opponent and at the contest. But this little bit of play here, that switch inside, there's a couple minutes to go in the third quarter. They're 2 goals up, but they say, hey, well, I'm going to still take this game on. We're going to continue to push that ball, and then it creates options for their forward 50. So I love that. What I've also loved is Thomas Highmore across half back. He's been able, with Hipwood going off injured, he's been able to sit across back with Howard and stop any ball movement that the Lions have been able to do going forward. So his marking has been setting up the rest of the St Kilda team moving forward.
Thanks, Hodgie. Well, the stage is set. Season-defining half hour here, particularly for St Kilda. Lions have been great finishers, won 5 of their last 6 final terms. As we mentioned at the start of the night, the Saints have been woeful in final terms in recent times. 5 really big fade-outs. They've conceded 23 goals to 3 in those. So now can they dig in for the next half an hour? Here's Das.
Here we go, final quarter. Ryder launches. Beautifully done to Jones. And what about that to Dean Kent? Jay said earlier, coming back from 8 weeks out with concussion issues. He's going to pop it to Membry. And Tim Membry launches and takes a strong mark.
Well, firstly, great work, Zach Jones, back into the team. They've missed him. Bit of run, bit of carry. Membry's had a really good night. Can do it all. Membry gets down back late in quarters, can intercept mark for them. And he's kicked well tonight at goal.
Tim Membry has been the Saints' leading goal kicker in 3 of the past 5 years. Picture of concentration. He's been kicking nicely so far. That's what confronts him, and he's shanked it. Big miscue.
Brad Couch starting the final term on the bench. Had a huge third term. Had 10 touches in the first half, 8 in the third quarter. Really got to work. He's on the bench at the moment, receiving some treatment as Rich delivers to Coleman. Such a fluid kicking style. Great grab from Ryder over the top. And Dougal Howard lets McInerney know all about it. Look at those contested mark numbers. Brisbane ranked 3rd in that category, St Kilda 14th, but tonight it's been the Saints who've controlled the skies. Brad Hill wasn't expecting the handball from Zach Jones.
Holding the ball, no genuine attempt. Brisbane, let him get it.
Quite strange.
Let him get it, Brad. Stand, move out, play on.
It's another one of those long high balls. Not going to work. Hasn't worked all night. They've only taken 6 marks inside forward 50 tonight. And they're going to have to try and find a way to get a little bit of run and lower their eyes a bit in this last quarter.
Free kick away of Zach Jones. He'd almost sold himself, Dougal Howard, into a bit of trouble back there for the Saints. There's going to be some nervous moments in this final term. Zach Jones. Oh. That looked right off the side of the boot, out of bounds on the full was Paddy Ryder.
No, it's on the full.
Might have hit a bit of the advertising hoarding there. Let's hope Starcevic is okay. It was genuine accident, and he has, that's rock hard down there. So he's in the hands of the trainer, Starcevic. Let's hope that's okay. That looked pretty nasty. Danaher at the back. Wilkie. Coleman's tackle on Jones. Now McCluggage with strength. Partially smothered off the boot. Ryder slapping it down. Sorko, well done. Connolly, the 3rd gamer, picked up though by Neal. Will that be the required distance? It is. McCarthy fell in his lap.
I don't reckon it was.
I'm pretty happy with the distance.
The umpire said he's pretty happy with it. The ones that hang in the air a bit longer, I reckon that you feel like they've travelled further than they have sometimes.
To see Brandon Starcevic coming off. We'll check in with Hodgie on his health shortly, but Lincoln McCarthy, big moment for this man. He's been a fantastic addition coming across from the Cats, where he really struggled with injury over his 7 years, but he's been fit, he's been strong, and he's been a great contributor for the Lions as he kicked the big goal he's missed. Hodgie, what can you tell us about Starcevic?
Yeah, they're just having to talk to him now. As Paddy Ryder laid contact with him, he hit into the corner of the sign, and they're assessing his neck, so they've just gone over just to check if his neck and his head's okay.
Yeah, you could see them feeling that AC joint as well. As Max King takes the grab at defensive 55. Off to Sinclair. Pulls the kick, dangerous one. Zorko almost got there in front of Ross. Rich wrapped up in a tackle, releases McCluggage, bounces towards half forward. Bailey goes to ground. Highmore's been really influential, particularly since half time. Receives it back from Hill. Feeds it to Jones, who needed to be quick. He was run down by Coleman. King, Butler, to a one-on-one, and Madden did well. Protected the drop zone, worked off long and took the mark.
James Madden broke the AFL draft agility and 20-metre speed record, Richo. He ran a 2.69.
Jeez.
The Irishman is lightning quick. Coleman, Danaher. Oh, Lockie Neal with a little bit of a magic trick there almost, and Dougal Howard's had a brain fade.
Gee, that had to be paid. That's as deliberate as you get.
As deliberate as he almost apologised, Dougal, as he did it. They've let it go.
I was sitting right in front of that, boys, and he's handballed it and then laughed, waiting for the umpire to pay the free kick, and the umpire was looking straight at it.
That had to be deliberate.
The umpire's had a brain fade as well there, potentially, as Jones found a way through. Nice handball to Ross. Burns. He gets better and better each week. Dunstan down the line, and Marcus Adams. That looked like front-on contact. They're letting it go in the last quarter. Here's Birchall.
Andrews back to Birchall. Pokes that left boot to Neal. Inboard to Zorko, can turn and go. Rich is within range. Winds up from the top of the centre square. And just misses.
Hit the post, did it?
I think it clipped it on the way through, Richo. And that was just a half kick.
I know, it's incredible. That was better, though. They got a little bit of run from behind the footy there with that entry and shot from Rich.
Jack Steele pops it out in front of Paddy Ryder. He's had a good battle with McInerney for most of the night. And Seb Ross. Lions have closed down the corridor option at the moment. So what can Bradley Hill do? He's going to go back and around. See if they can get out the other side. Jimmy Webster now. This kick's an important one. He's got the sideways target to Wilkie. All the left footers get involved here now. Billings normally kicks it well. Nice transition to Membry. And he sees something he likes as well. Pops it down the line. Dunstan. Second, third attempt. McCluggage. Hard running Lockie Neal. Got back. The slips catch has been dropped. Payne's got up a bit sore. Crouched back on the ground to Jack Steele. The skipper gets a chance to score.
Well done, Ben Long.
That's the most dangerous contact in footy, Richo, isn't it?
It's the
hip to head.
Hip coming through. Nothing. I mean, Long didn't do anything wrong. It's just an unfortunate collision.
He's a brave leader, this man, Jack Steele. He's turned into a fine captain of the St.Kilda Footy Club. Huge moment for him. Can he deliver a body blow to the Lions? Looks good. Jack Steele's got it. So that is huge. 18 points. Plenty of time, but they're going to take a fair bit of beating from here, St Kilda.
They certainly are. It's been a really disciplined performance by them right from the start. Hard at the contest. Some smart ball use against this Lions team, protecting their defence. And their defence has been outstanding at winning it back when it has gone in there. A bit quiet after half-time still, but that's very important.
Margin out to 3 goals. Approaching the halfway mark of the final term. Ryder over the top of McInerney. Lyons gets a quick kick away under pressure from Dunstan. Ball out towards the wing. Cameron will get there first. Good effort from Webster, smothered it off his boot. Steele involved again, pressured by Bailey. Cameron tries to slap to the advantage of Archie. Pressure comes from Hill. Archie put the football on the ground. Bailey, he's taken down. Tackle came from Highmore. Crouch in over the top.
Hodgie, how are we going down there with the injuries?
Yeah, Jackson Payne, that one that we saw where the head hit the hip, not a great side football, but he was okay. He's been assessed and they've kept him on the ground. Starcevic is still on the bench and they're still working on his neck and shoulder area.
Dunstan draws another free kick. He's been the main agitator tonight. He's got under the skin of the Lions midfielders from the very start, Richo. He seems to relish that role and he plays it well.
He does. Their whole midfield tonight. I mean, Zach Jones has been huge coming back in. He's had 10 clearances. Dunstan, Steele, Crouch.
And it's Steele that drives it long. Butler tries to swoop on it with the outside of the boot. Really clever to King. He can go back and take some time, set himself, or go on quickly to a 2-on-2. And Ben Long has just had a few little important touches tonight. And here's the most important.
He's been good, playing that small forward role. You're down there to put pressure on. You're never going to be the main target. That time he was.
15th possession for him coming up. Averaging 10 a game so far this season, so it's been one of his best performances and a timely one. If he can slot this, it's a 4-goal game. He's got it. Lions have got some serious work to do now.
Terrific from Ben Long. Played his role perfectly tonight, different role. 6 score involvements. Some inside 50s, some tackles. Now he's hit the scoreboard himself with a goal. Really good, committed team effort on all lines by the Saints.
So Ben Long gone forward, Richo. When he played at Footscray in the VFL in 2016, he first burst onto the scene as a forward. He kicked 13 goals in 7 games, including 6 in a preliminary final, and he's got the forward smarts.
He knows how to play the position. He's playing it well tonight. This is a great, great effort by the Saints tonight. Up at Metricon.
Ryder. Really smart tap it was. He twisted his body around and knew exactly where he wanted to place the ball. Max King has been outmarked on that occasion by Andrews.
We're going to start going quick from half back now, the Lions.
Going to go with some aggression too, you'd imagine. Going to take the corridor options. Payne, they're trying to find a target. Birchall eventually pulls the trigger. This is Madden. Hands it off to Lions. Back to Birchall. Kensey did well initially, but Matheson. So they get moving quickly. Can they get a contested mark? Highmore. He's read the footy unbelievably well back there for the Saints.
It's in the NEFL Team of the Year a couple of years ago. He's travelled the country to get an opportunity and he's grabbing it with both hands. Here's Long. Goes to Burns. Rich kept his feet momentarily, then went to ground. And the onus all now on Brisbane as we hit the halfway mark of the final term. They've got to change things up. They've got to be bold. And here's what it means at the top end of the ladder in the race for the top 2. Brisbane with a reasonable run home. But these are 4 points they just don't want to let slip through their fingers. And for the Saints, well, they're fighting for survival. And it shows tonight. They're playing like that. Steele to Ross, grits his teeth, wins the football, gets it to Marshall, off to Wilkie, high kick, Long will set himself, what a grab!
How good was that, Ben Long? Here come the Saints again, Max King at his jumper pull. Could have easily been a free kick, Butler spinning. Oh, nice little fake, Billings, McKenzie, he's just got it home. Saints leaded by 5 goals. Have a look at the Saints fans on the Gold Coast. Long's taking hangers. And this was a bit of what we saw last year. The Saints good enough to win a final. Can they storm home in 2021?
We've seen some great high marks this year in the AFL. There's another one, Ben Long. He's feeling it just after he kicks the goal. A nice little hanger from Ben. And then, look at this here. They're queuing up now, the Saints. They're feeling it. We've always got an option out the back here. There was another couple of handballs out the back if required. Just a get some time to put it through. Mackenzie didn't need it. Nice snap. What a night for the Saints.
Saints have kicked the last 5, and that's what they lead by. McCluggage, Neal, Robinson. Neal under pressure from Mackenzie, goes to ground. Back to Robinson. He's confronted by a couple. Got away from Steele. Throws it on the boot towards half forward, and guess who? Tom Highmore.
That's his 6th intercept mark now.
Off to Hill. Saints finishing full of run, as you'd expect. They're high on adrenaline right now. Membry has it. And for a team who's had the shakes late in quarters, this is just so important for their confidence. Membry, big fly over the top. At ground level, Steele stayed down. And snaps another. He gets his 2nd for the final term. And the Saints are out to a 6-goal lead over a team that's won 10 of its last 11.
It's been an unbelievable performance. They've denied Brisbane the footy all night. They've denied them inside 50s. Their intercept game from half-back has been so strong. And then they've just had more energy and run across the whole ground, and now they're cashing in. Siren can't come quick enough here for Brisbane. The Saints are just piling it on now. They're enjoying it, and they need percentage. They're a long way back.
And conversely, Brisbane can't afford to concede percentage, Richo.
So they're doing everything they have to here, the Saints.
It's midway through the 2nd quarter. The Saints have kicked 12 goals to 4. Wow, that's a party on the Gold Coast. If you're just watching the Saints for the first time tonight, you would very easily suspect they're a top 4 side. They're in great touch. And this has happened so often, hasn't it? The long bomb into the forward line. The Saints have cleaned up every single time. Jones now. Rowan Marshall got a really good shot, but Jones' effort to get back and clear some space sums up the effort that the Saints have put in. They've been outstanding in this game.
Well, they've only conceded 17 goals in basically the last 3 games. Their defence has been outstanding.
It's just unravelling all of a sudden for the Lions. Big Rowan Marshall, who's a big kick, turns his back and says, I'll bomb this one through. Still working his way into his best form, Rowan Marshall. He's missed 8 games this year with 3 different troubles with his plantar fasciitis in his foot. Such an important part of this team, Rowan Marshall. Casual approach, big high, long bomb. King launches. Andrews did pretty well. Let's get to Hodgie. It's been a tough night for the Lions. And that is the sad story right there, Hodgie.
Yeah, the sad story there with Eric Hipwood with a suspected ACL, but to his left is Starcevic. He's been on the bench for about 13 minutes now and has not moved. He's sitting next to Peter McQuee, the head physio, and after they assessed his neck, yeah, they've told him to sit down and rest his feet because he's not coming back on.
Birchall goes short to McCluggage. 24th touch coming up for the youngster. 3-on-1 in the air for Birchall. Takes the mark, doesn't appreciate the late contact from Highmore, and neither did the umpire. And that will bring Grant Birchall within range. So these last 6 goals that they've conceded, Richo, we talk about percentage. Across the course of the night, Brisbane so far have lost 6%. And in a tight top 4 race, that could be enormous come season's end.
Absolutely, and the Saints need it. Because at the moment, they would have to win an extra game than the teams around them to make the finals. And that basically means winning every game. So
plenty still to play for here for Brisbane. Every goal counts for them. Can Birchall claw one back from 50 metres out? Makes good contact and gets one back. A rare goal for Grant Birchall. He's kicked just 1 goal in the last 5 years. That was in round 20 of 2019. Slots one now for the Brisbane Lions. And the margin back to 31 points.
There's the live ladder, and the Saints, extraordinarily, it seems that they're in ninth position. If they lost tonight, they're down back below the Tigers on percentage. So such a tight finish to the year. That was Grant Birchall's first goal as a Brisbane Lion. Time there on Matheson to Neil. Bit of a helicopter kick. McStay's hands have been good at times tonight. And they love him to slot this one through. McStay wasting no time to the goal square and offline.
So important that St Kilda don't put the cue in the rack here. They've done enough to win the game, but they don't want to concede late goals. Of course, the opposite applies for Brisbane. They've just got to claw back as many as they can. Webster has it in the back pocket. A withering burst from the Saints in this final term. Howard to Hill. Marshall again presents on the wing. King there as well. Tried to toe poke it with the outside of his boot to Ross. Robinson on the bottom of the pack wrestling with Marshall. As McInerney and King come together.
Let go. Thank you, St Kilda. You dragged it in.
Mitch Robertson pleads his case. But Marshall will have it. You can see just how important those two are together. We talked about the stats earlier in the night. Rowan Marshall and Paddy Ryder, when they play together. Saints, well, if they go on here, they'll have won 5 of 6 games when they're together. And they've only won 3 of 10 when they're not. Jones to Hill. Through the hands of Butler. Neil to Robinson, and he just hoiks it long towards half forward, but it's going to come back.
Wilkie the man this time.
Their defensive shape has been so good tonight, but a lot of that has to do with the pressure up the ground. The long dumping kicks Brisbane have put in. It's a full effort across the whole ground by the Saints.
It's Brett Ratton's 50th birthday tomorrow, Richo. It's a nice early present here at Metricon Stadium tonight. Sure, if he could have had one wish, it would have looked something like this.
Should stay up there and go down to Rickshaws for a bug roll tomorrow at Burleigh.
He deserves it.
Just tell him Richo sent you.
Gee, they're good there. If you had a bug roll up there, God.
Sounds good, Richo, and the Saints have earned everything they can enjoy with a huge performance. Max King launches, well played. Harris Andrews tackled by Butler. Had the one arm grabbed. Some good signs for Max King tonight, isn't there, Richo?
There is.
What a very good player.
When he launches at the ball like that, he's going to start taking more and more marks as he puts a bit more weight on.
Here's Butler trying to just sock it through to himself, but Rich got it to Lyons off the hands of the contest. Webster stepped through the tackle, gives it to Steele. Steele to Burns. The youngster from 40 metres out. Slots another.
He's really showing some signs, Burns. Really lively up forward.
And their role players have all contributed tonight, Rich, at ground level.
A couple of goals now for him. They've hit the scoreboard. They've had multiple goal scorers tonight. 9 goal scorers out of 14 goals. That's what you want. Again, they're forcing Brisbane just to dump kicks out, and they're set up perfectly. You've got numbers running from behind. Burns, the recipient that time, finishes off.
He shanked one earlier, Darson, didn't score, which kept his stats perfect. He's kicked 6 straight in his career now, Ryan Burns. You forget about the ones that don't score.
Yep, they don't count on the official score sheet. Ryan Burns, just his 11th game. He's an impressive young player. Well done again, Ryder to Crouch. Madden sliding in.
Tackle, Brisbane.
Play a few free kicks tonight. Dan Butler, the Lions. We're going to get rolling. Zach Bailey. Oh, McCarthy in the high ball with incredible courage and copped the heavy knock. Oh, Devin Robinson's mark was Really well done in the end. A couple of bodies down behind play. We'll go back to that in a moment. McCarthy and Highmore get up and both appear to be okay. So Dane Zorko, 200th game. 4 goals would be a fitting return to one of the Lions' greats, but he couldn't complete it. So the margin now 35 points. The biggest loss of the year was round 1 for Brisbane. Sydney Swans beat them by 31 points.
Horrible position for Tom Highmore. Turns around and sees a hip coming straight at his head and nowhere to go. He has been fantastic tonight. Dougal Howard's done his job. In fact, that's been the story of the night for the Saints. Jack Sinclair's done his job, Richard. It's been such an even performance where everyone's just played their role. This is Billings.
Complete team performance tonight, Jace. It was started in the midfield. Dunstan, I thought, set the tone with his aggression and his abrasive attitude tonight. The forwards have done their job in their defence. The back 6 have been outstanding now for 3 games.
Bailey, little tap to Lyons. Accelerates away from Kent. Pokes it inside 50, punched away by Howard. And Das, that's what it takes, isn't it? To beat a top 4 side, everyone in the team just has to go out there and do their job.
Talk about playing your role every week. Coaches don't have to be the best player on the ground. Just do your job for the team. And I think if you look across the St Kilda side, I can't think of a player that hasn't stepped up and done that. Charlie Cameron, we just saw, hasn't been cited tonight, Richo. He's been well held by Webster. The Lions been outplayed tonight. They've got a bit of soul searching up for this one. Lockie Neal, Crouch, McCluggage tried to hurdle a couple of legs and then he got...
Come on, guys.
Well, a bit lucky, I think, in the end.
I mean, Brisbane know what they haven't done well tonight. They'll review it. They'll be able to fix it up and move on. And the Saints have just been too good.
Licked their wounds a little bit with Eric Hipwood. ACL injury. Chris Fagan has told us just after half-time. Lockie Neal sockered that one through for a minor score, and we hope the other injuries Hodges told us about across the night aren't too bad. Starcevic a little bit of a concern as well with his neck.
Still got Ryan Lester, Darcy Gardner's 10 weeks away. Jared Berry injured his calf during the week. Here's a chance for Charlie to get one back. Soccer's off the ground. It's been that kind of night. Wrong side of the post. Connor Ballenden, who's been an emergency. So if Eric Hipwood is done for the season, and let's hope that's not the case, it might be Ballenden if they want to take another tall inside the forward 50. And Steele takes the grab. Proud night for the skipper. One of St Kilda's best wins in recent times. And one of their most important when we look at that ladder. Billings, a little bit too much for Membry. Adams cuts it off. He chips back in the Zorko direction. Floating in was Robertson, did well. Gives it to Danaher from 60 metres out. Didn't quite hit it sweetly. Crouch will go up and belt it through for a minor score. So inside the final minute, margin at 32 points.
What a night for the Saints and their skipper, Jack Steele. 31st possession, he's kicked a couple of goals. Inspirational leader he's become. Dan Kent back into the side, late inclusion. Mason Wood was the laid out with some hamstring tightness. Dunstan's been huge. Webster, Hill, can they score a late one? Nice little chip kick. Seb Ross normally uses it well. Burns and Membry can raffle this one. Look at the time he's got, Tim Membry. And he takes all of it. Centering kick. Oh, a little too tall in the end for Seb Ross. Dunstan wants more. Picked it up nicely. Outside of the boot. And Butler can't keep it in.
Ready? Max? See you guys. Get way back. Meter.
McInerney at the front. A signature win for the Saints. They roll one of the premiership favourites and score a critical victory that thrusts them squarely back into the race for September. second term, just 1 goal apiece. Brisbane led it by 2 points. St Kilda by 10 points at the half, 13 points at three-quarter time. They kicked 5 goals to 1 in the final term to run out 32-point winners as we head to Hodgie.
Yeah, Max, mate, what a win. You come up here, the line's been on fire and you guys outplayed them.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a big challenge, but at the same time, we're pretty happy with our last month of football and feel like we've been building towards something. So it wasn't a huge surprise to us that we compete and go well. So yeah, it's a good result.
And yourself, 5 contested marks, it's a career high. Come up against Harris Andrews, All-Australian the last 2 years. How was your mindset going into the game?
Yeah, same as any week. I've got a lot of respect for Harris. He's a great defender. It helps when the ball's moving really well. And us forwards line, like, we're working together really well. So, yeah, happy to get on the end of a few. But, yeah, just happy to win.
In the first half, you played really good football, but I think you had 1 goal from 21 inside 50s.
Yeah.
And then you launched in and kicked 5 from 9.
Yeah, we know if we just keep plugging away, we're going to get our shots at some point. So, although it seemed like there was no reward, we were really up and about as a forward group. Saying we're playing really good footy, just not getting the results. So, yeah, we knew they'd start to come.
Perfect, mate. Well played.
Beautiful. Thanks, Odgie.
Wonderful performance from the Saints. Max King kicked 3 goals in the second term. They matched the Brisbane Lions on the inside. They were plus 10 for contested possessions, the Saints. Plus 15 for tackles. And then, Hodgie, they smashed them on the outside. Plus 91 for uncontested possessions as we head back to you.
Yes, they did smash them with the uncontested possession, but I think this bloke here started most of it in the second half. Tommy, well played, mate. Your intercept marking was unreal.
Thanks, Hodgie. I think it helps having blokes like Doug and Cal down there who block out for you. Definitely makes the job a lot easier.
Being in your first year, you've looked like you've just nicely fitted into the back 6.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably tough early, a bit of inconsistency being in and out of the side. It's probably hard on the fringe a little bit there, but I think the last probably 5 or 6 weeks, being able to string a few games together and just having those guys have you back each week just makes that much easier. Looking at
the Lions forward line, the star-studded forward line, there's goal kickers everywhere. How nervous was it coming up against them?
Yeah, well, I had the 3 bigs down there, so I think it probably helped having Hitwood go down early, obviously, unfortunately for him. But, yeah, I mean, everyone just knew they had to do their job, and the way our defensive system works, we have to all play in front, play for each other, and that's the only way you're going to get over a mob like that.
Right, and how good's this? You got all the supporters over here, the boys are going, very thankful. Mate, this win here has put you equal with 8th spot. The football after the halfway after your bye has been really good.
Yeah, there was a few meetings we had during the middle of the year and we weren't playing our best footy and we weren't shying away from that. So it's been nice to now string a few good weeks together and who knows what's going to happen in the back half of the year.
Well, mate, you've been a massive part of that. Well played and go and enjoy with your teammates.
Thanks, Hodgie.
Well, do not write off St Kilda in 2021. They have upset the Lions on the Gold Coast to jump up to 9th on the ladder, equal on points with 7th placed Fremantle. This is Saturday.
Team, they would get over the line, but a credit to St Kilda. They didn't look off all night. You know, from the moment the game started, their pressure was really good. Their contested stuff around the ball was really good. And when they had the chance to move the ball, they were getting inside 50s, but not necessarily getting the reward for effort. But then it started to click. Then they just went bang, 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 and their stars started to shine. Max King started the game really well. The inclusion of Zach Jones. Zach Jones back into this side just provides a lot of run and carry, something that they just relied so heavily on for Bradley Hill to produce.
Yep, he was big tonight, Zach Jones, 26 disposals and 10 clearance. But we're talking about Brisbane. They entered this game having won 10 of their last 11 matches, Jono.
Yeah, that's why this is so big from a St Kilda point of view, because they're an informed team and they had some big wins too against some quality teams, the Brisbane Lions. So to go to Metricon Stadium and to get this victory is just enormous. And I don't want to gloss over what Jack Steele has done. It's probably been his most important moments as captain of this club, because he's been a great player for them. He's taken over the realm and he's been very good in that role. But what he did in this last quarter, his teammates will sit back now and go, well, we've got a captain that is ready to take this group to finals footy in the future.
Yeah, his output's never wavered throughout the year when the St Kilda side has been up and down. Their effort has been questioned. Yeah. He's certainly the one player that you just cannot question the way that he attacks the footy. And you're right, that important goal that started that last term and started their run of 4 goals in a row, 5 out of the last 4 was then.
Enough from us. Let's listen to the song. Now, that is how you sing the team song. 32-point winners tonight. They have upset the Brisbane Lions at Metricon Stadium, and now all of a sudden we're looking at St Kilda's run home thinking, what's going to happen here?
Well, that's right. And look, to get the gap in the game, we're talking about percentage a lot this round, but they had the worst percentage of the teams that are fighting for the position 7 and 8 on the ladder, Geordie. So they get to build that a little bit in terms of what they produced in the last quarter. That could be the thing that comes back to possibly haunt them. But it's exciting now with what St Kilda's doing. We go down to 12 deep now in terms of the top 4 battle, but the battle for the top 8. It's great.
You're right, they keep their chances alive, and that's the only thing you want at this part in the season. You go through the June, July months and you're trying to get your game into a point where you qualify for the top 8. They're certainly in with a chance. We'll speak to one of their players in a moment. So the atmosphere around the change rooms is clearly there for everyone to see, and the environment is good. So they just need to keep producing that effort, and on the back of that, they become a good side.
So they next play Port Adelaide at Marvel Stadium, West Coast in Perth, Carlton, Sydney, Geelong, Fremantle. So 5 of their last 6 are against